For news beyond the game, it's Frontier News.
Whew, let's start off with forum threads. There were two big forum threads this week that sort of everybody needs to be aware of. The first is Horizons Odyssey compatibility. Now, with regard to this, the link is in the show notes. Greeting commanders. This was posted by Bruce. We hope you enjoyed the recent alpha for PC version of Elite Dangerous Odyssey. Thank you once again for your feedback and suggestions, which will have a lasting impact for all future commanders. This only marks the beginning for Odyssey. After the game launches on May 19th, we'll continue tweaking and balancing according to your experiences, just as we have done in the past. We know there are still a number of questions from the community, and today we'd like to give more information about the shared galaxy between Elite Dangerous Odyssey and Horizons. From PC launch, all Elite Dangerous Odyssey players will gain access to the new features, including planetary improvements, enhanced lighting, textures, and differences will mean that Elite Dangerous Horizon players cannot share a gameplay session with Odyssey players. However, Odyssey owners will have the ability to share the session with Horizon players by launching into the Horizons mode from the launcher. Though if they do this, they will temporarily not have access to Odyssey features. From console launch onwards, in light of the console launch, we plan to update Elite Dangerous on all platforms, PC, PlayStation, Xbox, to allow Odyssey and Horizon players to reunite and play together with other users on their respective platform. All Horizon players will also receive the new graphical updates, including new planetary tech, lighting, graphics, free of charge, but will not be able to get out on foot or enter Odyssey tenuous atmospheres. If you have any questions, please leave them in the thread down below. We will answer them as publicly as we can. 07. So I want to take just a moment here, because there have been some people that have said like, oh, well, that means that, what they're saying here is come console launch, Odyssey and Horizons will be in one galaxy all the time. That's great. Long story short, this is Art saying on stream that, not even a month ago, saying that the fact of the matter is that whenever you land on a planet, they're going to have to separate Odyssey players from Horizon players because of the PEGI rating.
About people who own Horizons or Elite Dangerous is now, and then people who own Odyssey going to a non-tenuous atmosphere planet and landing, will they be in the same spot? The answer is no, but the reason it's not necessarily a technical thing, it's an age rating thing. Elite Dangerous is I want to say 7+. I want to say 7+. I'm looking at Zach.
I can't help you.
I'm looking at Zach.
I can't help
Zach
you.
has no idea I'm looking at him, but yes, I'm looking at Zach. I think it's 7+. And obviously will be a higher age rating. So we are restricted to having those players in the same area, because obviously if it's a 7+ game, you can't see someone getting shot in the face with a kinematic rifle, etc., etc. So that won't be possible.
Now, I understand that this statement, as vague as it is, kind of makes it sound like, yeah, we're going to all be together, which means that, would lead people to have the hope, because I've seen it, where people are saying like, oh, they fixed it then. We're going to be together, landed on the planets. That is not the case. They have given no direct reason to think, as of now, that that's going to change at all, as far as you're still going to be instanced separately because of the PEGI rating. If that were to change, they would have had to have made an explicit statement otherwise, and they have not. So I think, would it be better if Frontier as a company were to be sort of better at communicating? Yes. But as it stands now, you have to assume that come Odyssey, when they say they're going to be reunited, they're talking about you'll be reunited in space. That's not going to change this whole pegging rating issue that says that you can't be together on the planet. So, all right, that is a thing. Roy, hop in on this.
Yeah, so I think you clarified it there again. In space, you're together on the planet, even though Horizons will have the correct geometry updated for the new planet surfaces. You just be in a different instance. The thing that immediately made me think of is, does this mean that if we were ever to get EVA, then you'd have to be in a separate instance in space as well?
I mean, we are a long way from EVA, so that's a 3 to 5 year from now problem. That is not a right now figure it out problem. So who knows? I think honestly, if you were to ask even Frontier, they wouldn't be able to tell you that. The things to keep in mind is, so number one, I've seen a lot of people very, very angry about this and very, very upset about this. I'll say this. I 100% understand you being upset from the standpoint of this is a case where Frontier said they were going to do something. They said that from May 19th, everybody was going to have prettier planets, regardless of whether or not you had Odyssey, and that the Odyssey people were going to have, access to the tenuous atmospheres where you could land and do other stuff. Now they've changed it on the eve of Odyssey launch, within a week of Odyssey launch, they've changed it. And I understand people are mad. People have, quite frankly, there's a lot of people have just been like on forum threads saying like, this is how you demand a refund, get your money back. This is a sham. This is whatever. Okay. I mean, let's look at this. Number one, yes, granted, this is not good. This is unfortunate. At the very least, I believe, and I could be wrong, but I believe this is yet another example of they are scrambling to the finish line. They are not going to have time to get the optimization quite done right. And so they're like, all right, cut this. That's got to go. We'll give it to them later. Whatever. Move to the next thing. Go, 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 go. We are way behind. We have to throw out something. They are making a mad dash. I don't think they wanted to do this. I think they had to do this because they're backed into a corner. But who exactly is hurt by this? Let's look at it. If you are a Elite Dangerous Odyssey player, you have the ability still to jump into Odyssey or to go back. So you are hurt by this if you have very definite plans to do stuff with Elite Dangerous Horizon players who are not upgrading to Odyssey. That is true. If you are somebody who runs a big event, such as these guys that do these massive, multi-hundred people expeditions that you sign up on whatever, and you're like, hey, this expedition is available for Odyssey and Horizon players. You have a legitimate beef because we're told that you were going to be able to provide an experience. You told other people you were going to be able to provide it. And now sort of you're not. Those people are going to be instanced and separated from each other. I get that. If you're a Horizon player, you were told you were going to get access to all of this new planet tech for free, and now you're not for several months. You will eventually, but not now. Okay, I get it. But you didn't pay anything. So okay. Looking for the bright side in this, and I completely understand if people don't want to look for the bright side, but I'm just trying to find it here. I will say this. I was pretty sure that the crystal fields were going to be dead as of Wednesday. Now, Frontier is telling us very clearly they're not, because even though the crystal fields may very well be dead in Odyssey mode, I can just hop into Horizon modes and go collect my shit and then hop back into Odyssey mode and enjoy the beautiful planets. I understand that some people might call me a Pollyanna for looking for that bright side, but I'm seeing that silver lining and I'm feeling really good about it. So let's get everybody's sort of feelings on this. Let's start with you, Tweaked.
Yeah, we talked about this quite a while back, actually, that could end up being this way. And it is. It's going to, again, separate the community further. Xbox can't play with PlayStation. Xbox can't play with PC. PC can't play with PlayStation or Xbox. We're all separated in that regard. You have people in private group and solo play that are separating themselves. And now you've got Odyssey players that have to downgrade their game to Horizons if they want to fly with their Horizon friends. Not a great look, not the end of the world either, because in time it will all go back to the way it should be. But that being said, a few months is quite a while.
I get it.
I mean, in the long run, it's not, but in gaming time, it is kind of. So it's not great, but again, it's not the worst case scenario. Let
me ask you a question. Show of hands. People in the chat, whatever, pipe up. Just give me a plus or +1 if this applies to you. How many people are going to take advantage or plan to take advantage of, hey, gives me another chance to refill my mats at the crystal fields. Hey, that gives me another chance to actually get good at SRV racing and actually go drive around on Pamesh before it goes away, those amazing ridges. Or, hey, you know what? For as much as I've heard it mentioned 8 or 12 different times on videos, I've never seen Mount Everest for myself. I'm going to want to go see that before it goes away. I'm seeing Sword with a +1, Biotic Keen, Orange Phoenix, Individual, WOLFDRAGON, Whiplock, Nemesis, Ableary, Silent J, Load 200. I'm seeing a lot of people like, okay, I 100% get that there was something that was promised that is not going to happen now, okay, for a couple months. It will happen in a couple months, but I'm also seeing an opportunity here for us to really go and do a big Elite Week get together, do a Black Sky Legion get together on Mount Everest with a bunch of SRVs sitting there. Go do a little thing like, and again, I'm fully admitting. So here's the thing, and I said this in the Elite Week Discord this week. I've had a little bit of Schadenfreude lately and a little bit of, Frontier, just some personal stuff that I wasn't a huge fan of, and maybe I was a little less charitable than I should have been. Human beings, and I'm definitely a flawed human being, we have tendencies to sort of, if you don't like a person, or if you don't like a thing, or if you're not looking at something charitably, you can find good reasons to rail at everything that happens and say, look at this is ridiculous. I'm a bit of a dick. I try to be a better person each day, but it's a thing that you have to try every day. You have to work at. I have not been as good of a person lately as I could have been. I'm trying to be more charitable. And when I look at a game that I love, and a lot of people all circling the wagons now to get together and sort of shit on them and give them a hard time, I'm going to go the opposite way. I'm going to go against the grain. I am going to try to see the positives. I'm still going to point out things that are problems. I'm going to still point out things, and I'm still going to be real, but I'm going to try to find the positives and share the love about this shit. So there is definitely things to not like about this announcement, but there are some silver linings there. Wolf, hop in.
So I had 2 points. One was about the PEGI rating possibility things if we do EVAs. I would hope that this would be a learning experience for them to not mess with the PEGI rating and whatnot and cause these issues unto themselves like they have now. The other one is with not giving the pretty planets and enhanced visuals to everyone on Horizons from the outset. Let's be down to brass tacks. The requirements to run this game in Horizons mode are pretty low, especially by comparison to, released this year game standards. This is bringing in some technology and some fancy stuff that's going to really tax that hardware. Maybe, just maybe, they realize that there's no way that they can get the optimization in correctly to run Odyssey on existing quote-unquote old hardware that we, some of us have. I've got a very old rig. And force everyone who wants to play the game at all to have to go out and buy a new GPU. Oh wait, that's a little difficult right now.
Wait, we don't all have 3080s? I thought we all had. Oh, rough. Okay. All right. That takes us to our next item on the agenda for Frontier News, which is Elite Dangerous Odyssey launch server downtime May 19th. Greetings, Commanders. Again, this was Paul Crowler, and this one is literally, he posted the notice and then closed the thread. No comments right now. Server downtime May 19th. Greetings, Commanders. We hope that you're excited for launch of Odyssey. Expansion marks Elite Dangerous' biggest ever update, and as such, we'll be taking servers offline in preparation for the launch. All Elite Dangerous servers will be taken offline for all platforms at 7 o'clock Zulu, on Wednesday, May 19th, and will be down for approximately 11 hours, returning at 1800 hours Zulu. We look forward to taking that one giant leap with all of you. Oh, sorry. It's Zulu UTC. That's what I mean, UTC. Old habit. So, Tweaked, I know you had a question or a statement on that.
Yeah. All platforms? 11 hours? What the hell? Why is it coming down for console when it comes back up? The game's going to be just like it is today. So I don't understand why it's got to come down for us. Since we're not getting any upgrade whatsoever.
I definitely understand your frustration, and your frustration is aimed at the whole fact that consoles have a delay. But I will say, this is absolutely standard practice in all MMOs. They have to take the whole server down to do guess what? It's going to be down on PC as well when they actually launch the console, whatever. When you do a major whatever, you have to take the whole thing down, upload your stuff, cross your fingers, and pray to Odin that shit comes back up when you hit that red button. So I get your frustration, but this just is a thing. That takes us to the next thing, which is tweets. So Frontier tweeted, the Thargoids return, and there's a hidden message from Salvation that was embedded in it. There was a tweet with a little short video clip, and on it there were a bunch of numbers that popped up, numbers and letters. It was a code. When you crack the code, it says react, all Aegis ever do. That's all Aegis ever do. We need a solution! ! Written by Salvation. So super interesting. And that takes us to our sort of next piece of news, which is as the Anti-Xeno Initiative announced yesterday at 7:15 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, massive Thargoid presence detected. A massive Thargoid presence has been detected in 7 systems across the Pleiades and Coalsack Nebula. AX pilots are asked to mobilize and respond to the threat immediately. Priority reports will be posted in defense targets shortly. Once the situation is assessed, Eagle Eye Defense will be utilized for updates and further information. These systems can expect to find Thargoid combat missions, AX conflict missions, damage stations, station rescue missions. Quick note on that. All of the factions in those stations are independent or alliance factions, so there is no imp or federal rep grind available right now. There's a link to the Reddit thread on it. The message ends, this is not a drill, glory to mankind. Just as a note from us, the systems affected are HIP 18390, Solano, Atlas, Pleiades Sector HR TAC W D1 TAC 74, Musca Dark Region PJ TAC P B6 TAC 1, Coalsack Sector VU TAC O B6 TAC 6, Coalsack Sector KN TAC S B4 TAC 9. That is the systems that are under attack. There were 2 streams this week. Tuesday, Super Cruise News number 33 with Zach and Sally. Link is in the show notes. The only sort of big thing that was stated in that was that they are now starting a new thing called Commanders Creations. It's similar to Stellar Screenshots, but doesn't just have to be a screenshot from in-game. It could be, here's my Lego Anaconda, or here's a painting that I did of a Thargoid, or here's whatever. They want people to submit cool stuff, and they're going to review them on the Super Cruise News shows. Thursday was an Anti-Xeno combat stream. ARF playing from home on the Xbox, doing Anti-Xeno combat with various guests. I know Orange Phoenix was a guest on the stream, and it was just, chill and whatever. It wasn't so much a, news type stream as it was just playing around and hanging out and chilling and talking. So that takes us to GalNet News. Roy, take it away.
Yeah, so on the 10th of May, 3307, Alliance election campaigns resume. This was about Edmund Mahan's delay to have the election happen after the summit. Sounds like there's never been a prime minister in the Alliance serve more than a term, so not sure if that's going to play into this or not. He'll get a second term, or Kane will follow.
You want to make a bet? I'll bet you right now that he stays on, because otherwise they got to do work to change his name and picture and all that shit.
Yeah, there's that.
Yeah.
On the 11th, Parisa conflict risks war between superpowers. I guess this story was proven wrong 2 days later when the conflict ended with no war, maybe. On the 13th, 2 stories, the one about the mass Thargoid strike, which you've just covered, and then Nova Imperium triumphs over Federation. Again, the outcome of the CG there. And then today we had federal citizens approve government scrutiny. So it's the outcome of that previous CG was taken as a mandate to, I guess, scrutinize people harder into a police state. So.
Yeah, the whole thing started with, we definitely need help spying on people just, because we got to fight terrorists. And then it expanded to, we also want to go after criminals and, maybe also people we just don't like the look of. This is a situation, I remind everyone of the very famous quote by Benjamin Franklin: those that will relinquish their freedom for security will get neither and deserve neither. Yeah, I know. This is probably, you're like, dude, you're a fucking space nerd. We're talking about a video game. None of this exists. Okay, but that's the principle of the thing. Roy, let's talk about them community goals.
Yeah, so we had the 2 finished, the fight for the Nova Imperium and the fight for the Federation. I guess interestingly, one got to tier 0 and the other got to tier 1. So they just barely won, and neither one had a lot of participation.
So they weren't giving out any special shinies. They weren't giving out massive, stupid overpayment in money. They weren't giving out, here's some engineering mats, or here's a sticker, or here's a paint job, or whatever. It was no special whatever. It was just, who cares about the story? And let me tell you something. The feds always win the CGs against the Empire. People, turns out, don't like slavers. Don't know why, whatever. But this is the first time that I can recall where the Empire actually won a CG. And I'm so glad that they did, because look, the Nova Imperium situation was Federation that did not have evidence of anything, came in, invaded another sort of sovereign territory, and said, we're going to go out and either kill or arrest this guy. Nobody's going to stop us. It was a lynching. And despite the, let's say, bias against the Empire that is normally found in CGs, in this one particular case, Nova Imperium, an Empire-based faction, won. They fought off those people that had come to illegally, kick in the door and take over their stuff. So I, for one, salute the hell out of that. So good shit. And we don't have a CG per se this week, but what we have is the bugs. The Thargoids are back. CZs are there. Conflict zones are there. Everything is there. Fight them off. So this week's CG is fight for survival. Everybody needs to go out there, support the AXI, support the Hand, support the Hive, support Haxcom, support any AX group of any kind, and support humanity. We all gotta, fight together for survival, yeah?